Welcome to Off with Their Headlines with Amanda Mata and myself, Meredith Constant. Amanda, who are you really quickly for the people?
Who am I really? I'm
Who
Amanda
am
Mata.
I?
I
She
go
sure
by
is.
Meta of Fact on TikTok and Instagram. And if you are here, that means you have found our new podcast, Off with Their Headlines, with the lovely Meredith, who I love so much.
Thank you. I love me too. Okay, we're all about self-love.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Amanda Mata, you know her, you love her. She is the #1 royal commentator on TikTok. I am a media critic, and we're just two girls from the East Coast, tri-state area, causing some trouble.
Some would say dumb American 1 and 2. Those people
Some
are
would
not us.
say young American internet sleuth. That would be the Daily Mail about me. The
Harry and
best
Meghan
compliment.
cheerleader.
It was supposed to be an insult, but it was not.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this is a little taste of what our Patreon is going to be. So there's a link in the show notes. If you're new and you don't know what Patreon is, it is a place to support creators whose work you like in exchange for some nice perks like bonus episodes, mailbags. I mean, we're going to be offering a lot of different things that we're really excited about.
I'm very excited.
'Tis the season. It's Boxing Day. We love Canada.
We love a little treat.
Might need to move to Canada. So we were trying to give a Boxing Day treat to really do some outreach. Okay, this is soft diplomacy. This is our own global statesmen.
Since we no longer in a past life, I think you and I, Meredith, ran vast estates using our husband's wealth, and we did box up Christmas lunch leftovers on Boxing Day to give to the estate. But alas, we live in America in the 21st century, and we can no longer do that. So we are boxing up a little special treat for you to preview our Patreon and encourage you to tune in to Off with Their Headlines in 2025.
Yes. So we kind of were batting around a couple of ideas, and then I read Amanda's fantastic Substack, The Fascinator, which she talked about some royal-related Christmas movies, which I was really into. I'm usually not a huge Christmas movie watcher, like a Hallmark movie person. But when I read the description for Royal Nanny, I said, oh boy, am I in. Let's talk about this.
Hallmark movies in general are not usually my jam. I got into the royal ones last year. No, maybe 2 years ago. This year, I am full steam ahead on all things Hallmark, Lifetime, Netflix Christmas movies. And I think it is the absurd angle to them, the way that we have to suspend disbelief. Like, I just watched one the other day. It was called 3 Wise Men and a Baby. First of all, if you've seen 3 Men and a Baby with Tom Selleck, Ted Danson, I love that movie so much. I watched it way too young with my dad, a core memory. The Hallmark movie, 3 Wise Men and a Baby, the girlfriend from the original 3 Men and a Baby is in that movie as the mom of 3 30-something men, varying degrees of having their life together, and a baby is left at the firehouse that one of them works out for Christmas. This movie would unravel so fast if just one of these people had the thought to call CPS. They never even entertain it as an option. Okay. So that is the level of absurdity I need in my life right now, just because of where we're at, I think, as a society. And the Hallmark Christmas movies are delivering.
I will say I decided to watch the Lindsay Lohan one, Our Little Secret, on Netflix while wrapping gifts. I said, I'm going to do this. It's been a real bad year. I mean, just absurdly bad. I have to say, I barely got any wrapping done because I was so invested, and because it reminded me, first of all, of the movies I loved growing up, like Mean Girls and all of that, and it just, they actually like put thought into these characters. I mean, it's kind of Wedding Crashers-esque in terms of the plot and the premise. But Lindsay Lohan, fantastic. I love her renaissance. Kristin Chenoweth plays like the bitchy mom.
Okay, I haven't watched this one yet. I need to.
It's really, really good. I'm not going to lie. I was really feeling it. I think we need more movies like this. I need light movies that are charming and there's something like beautiful in it, but it's not like overly gross humor, and it's not serious and dark and I can't hear anything. I need levity. I need this levity. This is what I need in my life. So I'm very happy Lindsay Lohan is doing it. I think I'm going to watch the Irish one that she was in.
That was so good. I watched that one.
Okay.
10 out of 10. Absolutely phenomenal. Again, there are plot holes, But once you get past
Yes.
them and you focus on the fun fashion and the love interest and the scenery, the landscape of it all, like, perfect.
Oh, I love it. I love it because it's not too serious, but they aren't treating it like it's like this stupid run of the mill kind of movie.
Right.
I'm very into
Right.
where holiday movies are going, and
Yeah.
The Royal Nanny is, I wouldn't say it's no exception.
Yeah.
It's in there. It's interesting.
Okay.
But the Royal Nanny came out in the US in 2022,
Okay.
and it is on Netflix if you want to watch. And it follows the MI5 and credible threats against the royal family and the children.
Wow.
And this is where it becomes miscongeniality, because they say,
Mm.
well, we need someone that can go undercover as the nanny. So obviously it's the woman. And so they look at Agent Claire, who was orphaned, and you got to have a bunch of dead parents.
Yeah.
Sorry. Wait, that was awkward. Sorry. Sorry.
No, but it's true. These movies, they have
They
this
have to kill off the
formula.
entire family. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so because she's never, I guess, been around children, cannot possibly be a nanny. It's not really clear why she would be such a bad nanny. Nothing about her,
Mhm.
at least in Miss Congeniality, you understand why Sandra Bullock is going to be a tough sell as Miss New Jersey, even though it's New
Right.
Jersey. I can say that. I'm from New Jersey. This is kind of wild, though, because so she is going to go undercover to protect the royal family, but little does she know that there's a bachelor, and he's a prince. And they're
Still
going to
my
hate
beating
each
heart.
other at first for their pranks. But God, he's going to show her what family's all about.
Mm. Mm.
Yep. And that's going to happen. And it is what I love about these movies, I will say, is within the first 5 minutes, you have done 50% of the plot work.
Yes.
It's incredible.
Yes.
We
That is,
start
I
seeing
think,
her do her.
intentional.
Yeah. Which
Right.
I love,
It's
because I'm like, okay, we're right into it.
I'm in. And it just gives you this cozy feeling, which I'm sure is like central to all of these movies, where you don't have to expend too much mental energy on like world building. It is so self-evident like where this movie is going from the jump. Although I will say I didn't necessarily anticipate the MI5 angle just from looking at the Royal Nanny like posters. That took
You
me
don't
aback.
think it's going to be very spy heavy, which I have to
Yeah.
say, I loved it. I loved it. It was just, okay, you're going to get some
All
romance, but
right.
you're going to get a lot of like secret business stuff.
I love.
I'm just going to say, with the recent break-in at Kensington Palace, maybe they could have used the Royal Nanny. Maybe Claire should have been there. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
Nanny
saying?
Maria
So
should be trained at MI5.
yeah, again, this is giving Miss Congeniality. It's giving Sound of Music. It's playing on all of our favorite
Perfect.
Mary Poppins. It's all of our favorite tropes. So very quickly we establish that she is in the MI5. They
Mhm.
are trying to catch these people who go through like a Christmas farm. There's no telling if William and Kate were there. I'm just kidding.
Oh no. Or at least their body doubles.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, the
Too,
gate was weird. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So very quickly, it's established that Claire will go undercover as a royal nanny. No one must know. And she goes to training school with just this lovely older woman who says, well, this usually takes years, but we got 24 hours. Let's do our
oh my
best.
god. Nanny boot camp. Wow. I'm
It was
picturing the woman.
wild.
Wasn't it like a TLC show, the nanny that would come into people's houses
Yes.
and like
Yes.
I forget what it was called.
We're
But
going to go
yes.
fix this. It might have been
Yeah.
called, I don't know,
I
Nanny
don't know.
911. It was something like
Yes.
that.
Yes, I think
Was
you're
it?
right. Should
It
have
was
been
something
Nanny
like that. I do remember.
999 because she's British, but
Right?
I'll
I was
let that
just
go.
about to say that. Oh my gosh, I love that about
Wow.
us. We're like, well, technically. So
Nanny
very quickly
999.
it's established that she is going to go in there. She's going to go undercover. Her partner is going to be like the valet person. And
Mhm.
I'm going to say right now though, Claire, the actress that plays Claire, she is doing some really intense eyebrow work this entire
Wow.
movie.
I
The
love.
eyebrow work is real. There is at no
She
point
don't
where her
got
face is
Botox in her forehead. She
she
is
said, "I will
proving.
move everything." But it's at times where her facial expression almost feels very serious for the moment. Like,
Mhm.
I'm like, it, okay. Oh, okay. Listen, you do your
I
thing.
respect it.
So we learn And here's a part I love. So the prince won't be home on Christmas. The prince being married to the princess of the royal children, because there is a king right now. There's a king.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes, I did pick up that detail. There's a
Is
king.
this
This
is this a fictionalized UK, or is it like a completely made up country?
No, it's the United Kingdom. It is the
Okay.
British royal family. And
All right.
I have a conspiracy theory that I'm not serious about, but I am so convinced that this movie is coded to push the narrative of family first, to excuse the part-time kind of royal behind the scenes work that Catherine and William have forecasted that they're going to do. I am so
Yeah,
convinced
sure.
this is a focus on the family movie. So the only real difference is there's a king, right? And
Mhm.
then the princess is his daughter,
Okay.
who
Okay.
I'm just going to say they named her Rose. I'm not going to
I want to see
I'm
the
sorry.
list. I
Come
want to
I
see the list of
come
names
on.
that they had to choose from.
You like someone either was paying attention or is not paying attention. They're like
Right.
English, it's an English Rose.
Right.
Okay. She's married to the prince, so I guess he's going to still be the prince when, she ascends to the throne.
Okay,
And
sure.
they have two adorable children. So
Mhm.
I love that father. We find out that father will not be home at Christmas
Oh,
because of the Air Force. In
obviously.
what world? In what world? Does that
No,
when
that
does
does not
that
track.
happen?
No. Especially
I was
not
like,
the Royal Air Force like way of doing things where yeah, you're in the Air Force, but like you're not really in the Air Force. Like come on.
he needs to be at Sandringham, okay? I know where he needs to be.
Yeah.
I just hope he's wearing like a really like jaunty belt like William in those photos of him at the air.
Maybe a
God,
velvet blazer.
that
Oh,
belt was
sorry,
doing
you're
work.
saying in the service. Yes.
Yeah, I like that. So, and then we find out the princess has a brother, and
Of course he does.
He lives at Frogmore. I'm not kidding you. He lives at
Wild.
Frogmore, and he's a bachelor.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
I write then, oh, he's gonna get with a blonde white woman, but she's a commoner. But that doesn't seem to like really be a problem for anyone here.
Mm.
That we don't know the ancestry of the prince,
Okay.
father, who is serving. So this whole movie, starts off with the whole really thing besides the main story, which is this elaborate plot to kidnap the royal children or something.
Mm.
And obviously the budding love interest where they start as enemies because they play pranks on each other.
Oh,
And it's The Sound of Music, where the
sure. Is there
children
a
play
pine cone
pranks
on a
on.
chair?
I wish there was, but she does return the prank gifts at one point, and I was kind of hoping they would cry over feeling so bad about what they did, like in that
Oh,
scene too. And
we
Christopher
can't
Plummer's
do
like,
that.
"What?
That's
No, they
too,
didn't do that." I was
yeah.
like, if a toad, my mother was watching them with me. She was like, "If a toad jumps out, I'm gonna scream." And then
Right.
there's that budding romance, and then the other plot is Princess just has so much on her plate, and it's hard to find time to be a
Princess.
mom.
Mm.
She just
Mm.
she sits there and she tells her son wants her to help her with this project, and she's like, "Oh, I can do that tonight." And her assistant lady, who is a red herring, which I called,
Okay.
my mom's like, "She did it. These movies are never that complicated. She's in on it." I said, "No, she's not. She's a red herring." And I was right. And the foil for that is so fun. This is where I
Okay.
screamed. I'll tell
I
you
need
about
to
that in a
watch.
bit. But
Hmm.
she basically just is kind of like, it's just it's so hard to find that balance. It is such I'm telling you, I was like, this
A
is all
self-aware
coded.
princess. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I
this is the craziest part that I did not understand at first, and I was like, what are we trying to say? One night, Claire goes down to the kitchen to, I don't know, procure a snack. And she catches Princess Rose, who is a very tiny person. It's actually very funny, the height difference when you see them,
okay.
because it's so big. And the princess is caught making sandwiches and asks Claire to cover for her. And at first it reads as, is she doing some snacking she doesn't want anyone to know about? I was like, because it wasn't really clear
Ugh.
everything that was
Yeah.
going on here, because there was a lot of stuff out. It wasn't communicated until later that she
Hmm.
just likes to pack lunches for the children.
Oh,
And they
okay.
just like a good white bread American sandwich.
So if she's not supposed to be packing the sandwiches, but these are the sandwiches that the kids presumably take to school, who do the rest of the staff think makes the lunches?
That's what I'm wondering. I don't understand the issue here. I
Okay.
have to
Yeah.
say,
No.
I don't see the issue, but this is all so that all the agents can come in because the princess tripped the alarm is what ended up happening.
Mm.
And so everyone, and then that's when the princess is like, what is going on? And that's when they let her in on this credible thread. And I mean, listen,
Yeah.
she takes charge. She
Mama
says,
bear. Mama
okay,
bear.
yeah, I'm a bear.
Mm-hmm.
And Claire is really, she is really, she's really ingratiating herself with the family. The children quickly love her because, of course, they do. She starts to
Yeah.
fall for them too. And then, things start kind of happening with the brother. There's some lingering glances.
Ooh.
There's some, oh, we have more in common than we thought. You aren't
Oh.
as icy. You aren't as mischievous or whatever she thought his faults were,
Mm-hmm.
rambunctious. And then he decides, he goes, hey, I know this is last minute, but I want to invite you to this holiday party.
Okay.
And she's like, whatever will I wear? She finds,
Right.
honestly, slay. The dress is great. Where are the royal reporters who are blowing up this story? Can you imagine if Prince Harry had just shown up with a mystery woman and no one knew? And it was
Mm-hmm.
very like, you are asking for this woman to get tailed, but the fact that there's not a side plot of this woman being tailed by the paparazzi
We can
at all
only
times.
we can only divide the attention so many ways. There are too many facets to modern British royal life. Like we just can't do them all in a Christmas movie.
And also, Claire, isn't that a potential to blow your cover if you're being
Literally.
photographed all over the place? And presumably there are people in your life that know what you do. It just
So I'm
seemed weird to me, like
assuming
the whole
this is
thing.
like an alternate future British monarchy where the invisible contract with the media has been completely ripped up and media relations are just like non-existent and they can control their image completely. Is that where we're at?
It seems like it, but
Oh no.
there is a plot twist here. So, Olivia, who is the name of the assistant to the princess, who I correctly said was not the person responsible, was not coordinating
Spoilers.
all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert, sorry. If you didn't think you were going to get spoilers, I'm sorry. Also, you can still enjoy this movie with these spoilers, I promise you. So, they pull her in for questioning. Get this.
Mm.
They have found in her financials that she had quite a bit of debt that she suddenly paid off. And I said, oh my God, it's Prince Andrew. I said, what alleged Chinese spy does she know?
Oh God. Listen.
Is Olivia trade envoy? Like, I have
No,
a lot of
I'm sure
questions.
she's doing Ocean Spray and Weight Watchers commercials on the side. I'm sure that's what it is.
No. Are you ready? She's
Mhm.
involved with a cash for leak scandal. And I screamed. Oh, I just knocked out my earbud. I was so excited. I screamed and I paused and started on a 5-minute litany of how
We're in
this,
too deep.
I paused the movie so I could let my mother and my daughters and son know about, learn about the Dan Wooten cash for leak scandal with the Sun. This is the Mirror this time, which I then said, oh my
Wow.
gosh, Harry was in his, starting his cases against papers at that time. And the Mirror was found liable in court in December of 2023. So a year later, they were found liable for gathering information unlawfully on Prince Harry to print
Oh my
articles. I
goodness.
was losing my mind. My mother finally said, Meredith, can we please watch the movie?
That's so interesting. And I wonder now if this movie would have hit harder, like if we didn't have the 2024 that we had and like the media, the cash for leaks, all of that were the prevailing scandal pertaining to the royals. Like oh my gosh, I didn't know this movie existed until this year. So
Oh,
I wonder,
it hit
oh,
hard for me.
I'm
It
oh,
hit
I'm
hard
sure
for
it
me.
did.
So, and now what they want is they want info on Prince Colin. His name is
Hmm.
Colin. I didn't mention that. And
Okay.
Claire the nanny. So
Oh,
they're
CNC.
still up to their CNC. Can't use that though.
Mm-mm.
You're going to be Kate with a K. So it is very sorry.
Claire
Callback.
with a
Spare
K.
callback. Claire with a K. And the media wants the scoop on that budding relationship. So
Of
we
course.
still have some underhanded moves.
Hmm.
Um, And the best part is Claire's like, by the way, this is from the princess. It's your letter of you're fired, basically. See yourself out.
Mm.
It's bananas. It's great. I loved it.
And then she
And
went to the media
it
and said she was bullied and made to cry by the princess, probably. That's my guess.
Oh my God. That's amazing. So I can't actually tell you
Please
how
don't.
everything is found out,
Yes.
but because I don't remember, basically what I'm going to say is I'm going to say this. Justice prevailed. Colin gets kidnapped, though, at one point. There's like,
Okay.
no, I will say this. There are some Home Alone-esque hijinks, and I'm going to say an umbrella plays a prevalent role in this movie, and I called it from the outset.
Wow.
I'm not going to go into details, but umbrellas are very important, and there's some Home Alone-esque hijinks to get the prince. Because somehow I got to say, royal security sucks in this movie. Somehow I was losing my mind when so at one point they're Christmas shopping for mom out in public because of course.
Royals,
I mean they've shut
like
things
us.
down, but still it was like,
yeah,
what are we doing here? And then they're walking down like an alley. I'm like, who approved this? It's so bad. And then they, again, of course, they're trying to get in the car and the bad guys get kidnapped. They're like, well, we can't get the kid, so we'll get Colin. They get him into the van, whisk him away. And can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I mean, Princess Anne was almost kidnapped, but that was very British. She was like, whatever, go away. Shoo.
Yeah, not bloody likely.
And I just couldn't believe it.
And then would roll. People would be sent to the tower. Oh,
off with their headlines. So, ooh, you see what I did there? So Claire ends up just like saving him, and he looks great for 3 days in a suit. And okay, sure.
Nice.
And we find out who has done all of the. We find out it's very scandalous. By the way, I do remember that part, but I'm not going to tell you. And then, of course, we go back to the Kensington Palace, I guess, presumably. And actually, Princess Rose looks a lot like Kate if Kate had brown eyes. It's the same hair. I don't know if they're extensions or not. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And, Colin is rescued and they have this like moment of tension. Will they or won't they? And you'll never believe this. Guess who breaks royal protocol and gets an invite to Sandringham for Christmas? Because she's part of the family.
Our girl Claire with a K.
Our beautiful blonde girl Claire gets an invite. They're not even dating, but the princess goes, well, you hurry this along and hopefully there's a proposal soon. Whoa, my friend. We haven't even test drove the car, the automobile.
Right.
Calm down.
We haven't even done the background check. We haven't even had the doctor's visits to prove that she can continue the royal bloodline yet. Come on.
We had a chaste, is it chaste or chaste?
A peck.
A peck. Chaste. I thought so,
peck.
but when you say something and you realize you've read it a lot.
Yeah, it's a word yes. Yep.
So and everything is well again. Claire discovers the true meaning of family, and that through two very well-behaved children who engage in pretty low practical jokes.
I'm laughing because I have heard from people who have cared for, not naming names, not necessarily the British royal children, but I've heard that royal children in general are biters. They are not well behaved. So this is a hoot.
The biting is interesting. There's something psychological with that.
So
Definitely.
This is where
these children are wonderfully behaved.
Suspended.
They play some hijinks. And Colin even says, have you scared this nanny away yet? And they're like, no. But they don't even seem like really invested. They're not mean enough. I mean, in Sound of Music, they're meaner. And I think we needed
I need mean children.
I needed more cruelty because the arc doesn't necessarily work. But again, I am convinced, and I'm saying this jokingly, that this is supposed to symbolize the relationship with the current royals, down to having a king, down to then although they switch it, they're like, but plot twist, the princess will be queen, and that's different. Oh, by the way, the prince makes it home in time for Christmas, father. And he makes it home because something happens when there's a kidnapping where it alerts something with
Oh,
the Air
sure.
Force and it has to send him home. It's great
I
that
was gonna
Colin was
say,
kidnapped.
like, maybe the Air Force Base had toxic high levels of radon or something and he had to leave, but that makes more sense.
I heard that too. Yeah, so he he sent back, so everyone is super happy, but again, watching this, knowing how the one thing, just to kind of know the history of William and Kate, is that
Mm-hmm.
really they were, and this is not a judgment, part-time royals until about
Right.
2017. They were. He was
Yeah.
working and they were raising their family. They had them out of the spotlight for a while. I am not critiquing that. That is just what they did. And really it was around
Mm-hmm.
2017, 2018, when now you have Harry and Meghan, that William
Yeah.
really becomes crafted as this global statesman, which is a hard pivot when you have been
Mm.
criticized by the media for your work ethic and skipping Commonwealth Day
Right.
to ski and stuff like that. You know, things that just aren't great optics. But now we're trying to
Mm-hmm.
very quickly ramp up this new William. But by the way, this new William is doing less royal engagements, but he's doing more behind the scenes, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing, but it's really hard to overthrow the entire way your family has done things, especially when your
Yes.
grandmother has been very, you know, staunch about I have to be seen to be believed. I think it just takes a little more
Yeah.
time to
Well,
make that engagements less important.
and that's why you have to kind of predicate that shift on the family and
Yes.
raising the next generation of royals, and so the focus on that in this movie is quite intriguing.
And even especially during the health crisis that's been happening, which again, I I have I'm not going to go over here and criticize how families operate when going
Mm-hmm.
through a health crisis. But
Yeah.
as we've seen with our last episode with that Taylor Swift article, this push of William
Mm.
as a family man, more so than in the
Yes.
past. Not only to show like he's a real person, but also to explain a bit why he has pulled back from engagements. That he also
Mm-hmm.
needed to pull back because of everything that was going on. And this you really see, you know, in the movie with Rose, what a name, trying to balance this working life. And again, the kids are more important and raising the children is more important. And
Right.
shouldn't everyone be
Right.
understanding of that? I'm not saying they shouldn't, but I
Fascinating.
am saying that the idea of the monarchy is it's the crown above everything else.
So you're saying that the producer of this movie is a royalist, is what you're saying?
It kind of feels like it.
Meh.
I tried to do some digging, but I couldn't figure out.
Allegedly.
Also, I have to tell you something. This is going to drive you nuts. This is
Okay.
clearly not filmed in England, and they drive on the wrong
Oh.
side of the street. Like they drive, yeah, and the signs are not right. There are so many inconsistencies that are going to drive you
Wow.
nuts. Um,
Okay. I'm
I just
prepared
want you to
now.
look forward to that. But also, I know I was also like, oh, so it is the white British born blonde lady that is going
See,
to.
this is why, well, yes. This is why I prefer my royal Christmas movies to take place in a fictional, vaguely Bavarian country
Yes,
with a name
yes.
like Aldovia, Genovia, whatever. Make it up, suspend our disbelief in that regard. That way you
That's
can
a
play
good
fast and loose with
point.
Royal Protocol. Oh my gosh. So my favorite royal Christmas movie series is A Christmas Prince, and then A Christmas Prince the Royal Wedding, and
Is
then A
that with
Christmas Prince the
Vanessa
Royal Baby.
Hudgens?
No, that is a
Oh,
Princess Switch. This is
okay.
the girl in the US version of Ghosts. I don't know her name, but she is the lead in this trilogy. And it's like a universe at this point. There is lore that goes into the Christmas Prince universe. There's connections to Princess Switch, like they get referenced in each other's movies. Um, yes, I watched these movies. I watch them every year because
Oh, I'm
they
gonna
are
watch
so
this.
good. I watched them while I was Christmas wrapping this year. The first one is she's a reporter and she goes to Aldovia to cover the return of the wayward prince who is soul searching after his father, the king, passes away. Will he, won't he accept the crown? She worms her way into the palace and they fall in love and discover the meaning of Christmas. And duty is like a big part of them. And then that movie was so successful. I don't know how, but the budget seems to have gotten slashed in the second and third, in that the lead actress's hair and makeup gets like really weird. And like you can tell it's like the budget is just like lower for some reason. But there is such an absurd level of like nod, nod, wink, wink at the camera with these movies where like you can tell that they are spoofing reality, and an actor gets switched out between the first and second movies. And so everyone's like, huh, he looks different in person. I thought you
Oh
had
my
a
God,
goatee.
that's
And he's like, yeah, I shaved
so
it for the royal wedding.
I
They're
love that.
delightful.
I love
Sorry,
that. Okay.
sidebar.
No, I'm definitely
But
watching
fictional
that.
country, and you can get away with so much more in this
That's
instance.
true. This one, I think
Yeah.
because my brain is so broken from the British royal family
Yeah.
and the British media, on my own accord, by the way. I
Right,
did this
right,
to
right, right.
myself. We did this to ourselves
Yes.
that I couldn't watch it without, and you'll notice things that because again, you are
I'm sure
really
I will. Yeah.
the royal expert, for lack of a better term. You really know the history and you understand more of how things should be done. And I
Mm,
can't wait to
yeah.
your litany of issues with this movie will be probably
I'm
delightful.
excited.
I will
I'll
say,
report back.
I think in speaking of like nod, nod, wink, winks to other movies, I
Mm-hmm.
believe, and
Mm-hmm.
this might not be true, but I think so. In the Lindsay Lohan Our Little Secret, at one
Okay.
point she's asking, Lindsay Lohan's character is asking her boyfriend about this cute, hot girl next door that he used to be involved with, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And she's
Mm-hmm.
asking about, like, you must have noticed she's tall and blah 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 blah. And he goes, well, I guess I never really noticed that she was tall. And she
Mm-hmm.
goes, so you think she's pretty? And it reminded me of Mean Girls when they're like,
They did that. They
yeah,
did that in Hot Frosty too, which is
did
Lacey
they?
Chabert, who played Gretchen Wieners. Yes, she takes Hot Frosty to her house. We don't have time to get into that movie. I have lots of thoughts on Hot
Oh,
Frosty,
I that's on my list
but
to watch.
please watch it. Please tell me what you think. It is not what I expected, but also exactly what I expected. And
Okay.
she takes Hot Frosty to her house, Lacey Chabert. They turn on the TV, and one of the news anchors or something is played by Lindsay Lohan. And she goes, huh, she looks like a girl I went to high school with. And like, that's the end of the joke. But nod,
Living.
nod, wink, wink.
Perfect.
Yes.
That is what they
So
need.
like I'm saying, it's a cinematic universe being
You know what I
created
think?
over at Netflix.
I'm going to make a new thing. I think that either we're just getting older, and so these
Mm.
movies are appealing to us, or the people who make the
Yeah,
movies are realizing, hey, millennials and stuff are
it's not
into
that
this
deep.
too.
Yes. Yeah.
And so we need to start kind of catering to those millennials. And God, it's working.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm
Yeah.
just getting old.
Working
Again, I
really
don't
well.
know which one it is. It might be
They
both.
do love to repackage our childhoods and sell them back to us. We can't discount that. But also, yeah, we've seen some shit and we need that escapism. And if they are going to flatter our like our vanity and throw us those references, like
Please.
I'm all for it.
Continue.
Yeah.
I will watch all the movies. This has been really
Yeah.
fun. So this is kind of a
Yes.
taste of our Patreon. We're going to cover a ton of different things. We're going to do movies, documentaries. There might be a topic that we really want to get into, that
Mm-hmm.
we're going to kind of do behind a paywall. I mean, it's just going to be a mix of different things. We really want to build it into
And
something special,
also
though.
And also early episodes in terms of our video podcasts. So you'll get those
Yes.
first on the Patreon. Eventually, once we have advertisers, marketing peeps, please hit us up with opportunities.
Please.
You'll get early ad-free episodes over on Patreon as well. Obviously, more to come, and we are open to ideas and suggestions.
Yeah, please. We want to do mailbag episodes as well. If you ever have a question, we'll include this in the show notes, but you can always email us offwiththeirheadlines at
Mm-hmm.
gmail.com. We might do a
Can't
mailbag
believe that wasn't
episode.
taken.
I am
I
so
can't believe
shocked that
that.
off
Yeah.
with their headlines everywhere. I kept waiting for it to be like, do you want off with their headlines _ 22?
Right.
Never happened.
Right. Huh.
It's kismet. It was supposed to
Maybe
be.
it's not as clever as we think it is. That's where my
Oh,
mind's going.
I think it's too clever. It's just so clever that no one thought about it. I mean,
right.
well,
And no one else cares this much about media and royals at the same time.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Listen, there's something for everyone. So thank you again for listening.
Thank you, thank you,
Amanda.
thank you.
Where can everyone find you though? Where else can people find you? Give me the scoop.
Well, for now, since we're still recording this in 2024, TikTok, Matter of Fact, Instagram, Matter of Fact. I'm on Substack at mattaoffact.substack.com. My newsletter is called The Fascinator. Also a place for everything. You know, I have a reading list for the winter coming out, which I'm really excited about to give you some more recommendations. Yes. Meredith, where can we find you?
I am at Meredith Constant. I am on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. You can also find my Substack at meredithconstant.substack.com. It is called Pulling Threads. Lots of fun stuff on there. I do real deep dives into topics I'm interested in and just don't have time via video. And my recent series that's just wrapping up, if you want to check it out, is called Royal Women and the Rags. And it's looking at the similarities and familiar stories from Diana and Camilla through Meghan and Kate that we see in the soap opera that's presented by the British media. And it's super
almost
interesting.
Like there's a pattern of behavior.
It's almost like this. And I found some old articles. They are so bananas. They are so bananas, but some of them you could just change out names. And also really bad. I mean, listen, media is still bad. 90s media, though, holy moly. I would be shaking. Listen, you were not raised in the asylum that these people were raised in the 90s, because this was tough. I don't care who you were. This was brutal. So find us over there, and everything that you need, all the links are in the show notes.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us for our first Patreon preview, and we will see you in the next one.
Cheerio. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to use that as my sign. We're trying to think of sign-offs. Well, let's work on that.
We'll workshop it over the holidays.
Bye.
Bye.